Hello, my name is Sophia Morton, and today I'm asking you to have this interview about leadership for my American Humanities class. What is your full name?
My full name is Brad Morton.
I feel that you show many characteristics of leadership, communicating is one of them. How do you communicate with your coworkers and show them your goals for work?
Well, I'm not certain exactly what you mean by that. One of the things that I do with my coworkers is I try to lay out a plan for the work. What I do is really quite complex, and there might be a lot of different ways to get from point A to point B. And so a lot of my communication with my coworkers is trying to outline the steps that we should take to get from point A to point B.
Okay. And with your job, how do you think that you yourself hold overall leadership with the people and how you take charge of the situations you're in?
Again, I'm not certain exactly what you're asking. Are you asking how do I exert my leadership when I need to?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, one of the ways is actually with communication. Talking relatively slowly, speaking from your diaphragm helps gets people attention. One of the things about my coworkers in particular is that we're quite multicultural. We have a department that has people from all over the world, and they all bring their own perspectives on how to communicate, on what they hear when other people communicate to them. For instance, I am from the United States. I use a lot of idioms that people, for instance, from China who have learned English as a second language, they don't understand the idioms. So one of the ways I do it is by speaking slowly, speaking clearly, and trying to avoid confusion.
How do you feel that everyone you work with affect your leadership skills or how you lead?
Well, actually, it's that multicultural aspect again. Different cultures bring different perspectives to the table. And one of the benefits I have by working with a group of people that are from all corners of the world is that I have learned how to interact with different aspects with people from different regions of the world. Just as an example, people from Latin America like to laugh. And so I've learned that if I incorporate just a little bit of humor and buddy elbow bumping kind of things with them, it encourages them, and it encourages them to then turn around and communicate with me.
Okay, with all of this, do you yourself feel like you are a leader to anyone you have met or anyone you work with?
In certain aspects. I am a technical leader in my group, so when people have how do we do this kind of questions, I'm the one that they go to. I'm the one that can help answer it. I'm the one that has the perspective of why our systems are set up the way they are. So when it comes to technical questions like that, you bet, I do believe I'm a leader. When it comes to making priorities, I'm actually not the leader. I like to make suggestions because of my experience, but when it comes down to if we only have time to do one task, do we do task A or do we do task B? That one I actually try to back off from taking a leadership. I'll make a leadership role. I will make a suggestion, but I'd actually try to back off of those because there's someone else who is responsible for those sorts of decisions.
Okay, and also with that, how do you feel that, or do you feel if you are a leader to people other than your work, even statistical or even just thinking, do you think that you're just a leader to people that you might see on the streets or to your family?
You bet. Not so much people on the streets. That's not really my personality.
Yeah.
But when it comes to my family, you bet. When it comes to my friends, you bet. But I do a lot of leadership type of work at my work. And there are times when I'm with my friends that I don't want to do that anymore. I've kind of been doing it all day, and I just kind of want to go with the flow for a while. So it depends on the situation. With my children, definitely.
Okay. Why do you think that there are many people that don't think of themselves as leaders?
Ooh. I would probably say there are two reasons. Number one, they don't feel they have the competency for whatever the task is. If I asked you, what do you think's going wrong with this HPLC? You probably don't feel like you have the competency to be able to address that question. You might not even know what I mean when I say HPLC. So one thing that makes people feel like they're not a leader is they don't feel they're fully competent in whatever the topic is. Another reason, though, which I think is a lot more personal, is they might not feel they have the confidence. They might know it very well. For instance, when we practice driving, you probably, with all of your current driving classes right now, you probably have a much better grasp of exactly the system of all the signage than I do. It's been decades since I studied the driver's manual, for instance.
But you would have more experience.
I certainly have plenty of experience, but I'm trying to use you as an example.
Yeah.
You have the competency, but you might not have the confidence yet. And certainly experience grants or helps get you that confidence. But I think that's true of a lot of people when they don't feel like a leader. They either feel they don't know the subject or they don't have the confidence to be able to turn into that leader for that subject.
Okay. Who is someone that you yourself see as a role model or a leader?
The Dalai Lama, actually. He walks the walk that he espouses.
Could you elaborate more on that?
Well, I think one of the central characteristics of a good leader is that they have integrity. So if, for instance, the head of a religion says, this is the religion, this is the way we should act, as the head of a religion, they should act that way. Integrity is a little bit of a tricky subject, but sometimes one of the best ways to everybody knows what it looks like when you don't have integrity.
Yeah.
Right? If I say whoever didn't cook the meal has to clean up, and then I don't clean up when I didn't cook the meal, I'm not having much integrity.
And you believe that...
And I think integrity is absolutely critical to any sort of leadership.
Okay.
And so I think the Dalai Lama is a wonderful example of somebody who walks the walk that he espouses. So he is the head of his religion, and I believe he actually practices his religion the way he wants others to practice it.
I see. Do you have anyone at your work that helps inspire you, or to keep doing your job, or anything in your life besides just your job?
Sure, I do. I have one of my coworkers' name is Adam Nosbish. He is a fantastic encourager. Helps keep me motivated, helps keep me focused.
Do you think he does that with other coworkers too?
Oh, absolutely.
When you think of the leadership, or anyone's leadership, what do you think it takes to be successful instead of just having that in one's mindset?
Well, we touched a little bit on it already. I think integrity is absolutely critical. I think good communication skills help. Part of communication, or part of leadership anyway, is, at least as I exert it and as I have it in my workplace, is that you need to listen. If all you do is talk and all you do is point out how to do things, okay, great, you're a source of information, but that's not leadership. That's just being a source of information. Leadership is going to wind up being somebody that empowers the other people. In my case,